What's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Justin Thomas. This is my channel. I own a company called Insurance Advertising Masters where we take one-man individual insurance agents that are still chasing people and feel like they have a job and turn them into a multi-agent, real agency, real business, teach them how to scale, teach them how to do advertising, teach them how to do a lot of that type of stuff. But that business has allowed me to do a lot of other things. So I also talk about real estate investing, I talk about money, talk about motivation and entrepreneurship, kind of anything in between there in that business world. And today we're talking about money. So this is probably controversial advice, but you should stop investing in Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, metaverse, stocks, anything that is volatile. And here's what you should start doing instead. So first things first, if you have a business, that is the first place that your money should be going into or back into, right? So if this business is creating money, or if you have a job and that is creating money, you should have the very first place that your money flows into back into your business. The reason it should go back into a business is because at this point you have an asset that you have full 100% control over. And it has the highest leverage point of anything else. A business is unlike anything else that you could put money into. You could put money in and you could get 100, 200, 300, 400, 10,000% returns on that money. Every other option, you're gonna be looking at anywhere from 0.03% in a bank to 3 to 4% to 8%. Maybe you'll get like some 20, 30% if you really find a good investment. But the thing is, you don't wanna put your first dollars into an investment because the growth is just not there as it is when you have a business. So when you have a business, what are the things that you should be investing? When you hear the word reinvest into your business, I remember before I was a business owner, I would hear people say that all the time. I didn't fully understand what that meant. There's a lot of things that you can do that fall under the umbrella of reinvest into your business. So I think the very first thing that you should do is actually spend money on yourself. And you don't really want to do this if you don't have a business, unless you're planning to start a business, because if you level yourself up or level your skill up and you don't really have anywhere to channel that energy, it's kind of spending time, money, and energy into something that doesn't have a big payoff. Now, sometimes it can make sense if you're in a position, if you are in an actual job, but you're doing sales, or if you in some way could level yourself up and get a promotion, then this still makes sense. But if you for sure have a business, if you for sure have a place to channel this energy, then you definitely want to start on yourself. And the best analogy I have for this is if you've ever played any sort of video game, but the best one I can really think of is, Madden or NCAA football or anything like that, but Madden's a really good example. So in Madden, you can create a character. And for any of you that don't know, Madden is an NFL football game. So you can create a character, but you can also create a team. And the highest leverage point starting out is actually to level your character up as much as possible. Then from there, you start working on your team. And that's how it is within a business. What you want to do is you want to invest in education. You want to invest in building skills to get yourself to the point where you can be as highly leveled up as you can as the owner of the business. Because when you are starting a business, unless you get a lot of funding from somewhere outside, you're most likely going to be wearing almost all of the hats in your business. And so the better and more skills that you can acquire and build and develop, the better your business is going to be, because your business is a direct reflection of you. So I personally have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on education, learning different skills. I spent a lot of money learning sales. I spent a lot of money learning advertising. I spent a lot of money learning actually running ads on different platforms. I've spent a lot of money learning copywriting. And out of those 4 skills, I would say copywriting is number 1, but that's just for me personally. That could be different for you, but the point is I spent a lot of money on those skills. And once those kind of baseline skills were acquired, I then hired mentors that would teach me higher level skills. I learned how to hire people. I learned how to manage people. I learned how to find the right people and put them in the right place. And that's the stuff that I'm still learning today. And I'm still not at a point where I feel that I'm fully leveled up. So a lot of my money still goes into education in order to continue to level myself up. So that's the first place. You want to level yourself up because when you're wearing all the hats, you want to be the most skilled person before you start delegating, outsourcing to either other people on your team or to other agencies or things like that. Because if you start outsourcing and you have no way to know how well they're doing or any foundation for them to even work from, you're really gonna be putting people in an awful position and you'll have no accountability in order to lead them, which is the number one thing that you need to have if you're going to be a business owner. So that's the first place I would go to for investing inside your business, is actually investing in yourself. The next thing you can do when it comes to the whole, vague umbrella of invest in your business is once you have a skill, you should be able to learn how to acquire customers through advertising and marketing and sales. The combination of those three together, they're all really the same thing. They're just expressed in different ways, but they are all the same thing. And they're really being able to express your message to the market in a way that gets people to come to you. So once you've acquired that skill, you should create a system in your business to where you can spend $1 and make more than $1 back. You can spend $1 and make $2, $3, $4, $5 back for every dollar you put in. You now have a very strong place to reinvest money back into. So once you have that created, you really just want to start putting as much money as you can in there. And that's what's actually called scale. That's how you scale your business, because the more money you put into that, the more money you make out, and you end up creating this asset, the business that you own, that you have full control over. You're actually making it bigger, better, stronger, more fortified by putting more money into it and scaling it up. And also it makes it less volatile because you're not banking every day on just your activities, you're turning it into a system. And so once you have a system, funneling as much money in there as you possibly can. Once that happens, you're gonna be able to scale your business pretty largely, and that's where a lot of your money's gonna go. But you are going to run into bottlenecks, and what those bottlenecks are typically going to be is humans. It's gonna be staffing, it's gonna be having enough time in the business to handle all the business that you're generating. So from there, investing in the business becomes hiring the right people and the right team members to place under you in order to further systemize this business so that it works for you. So that's everything that goes into the bucket of reinvesting into yourself and into your business. There's a lot more that we can go into, but really that's kind of the progression of it, and then you just keep investing into your business. Now, throughout that entire process, if you've done things properly, even though you reinvest money, you should still have profit every single month. So for example, if you spend $10,000 on ads, but you have that machine that makes $2, $3, $4, $5 for every dollar you spend. If you spend $10,000 on ads and you make 5 back, you will have made $50,000 this month. So you get that 10,000 back to do it all over again the next month, and you have 40,000 in profit. Now there's probably some other expenses. So from there, you can either decide, do I want to put a little bit more of that to even grow it up bigger, which you probably should. You could even put it all back in, but you get to a point where you can't really continue to put every single dollar you make back in, and you're gonna start bringing home some profit, and it's gonna start coming to you. And that's where we need to decide, what are we gonna do with that? And this is another point where I start to see people make a lot of mistakes, especially from entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are people that love to take risk, and that's what's gotten them to the point that they are at right now. If they've taken risks that other people are unwilling to do, they've probably built a business, they've probably done something that a lot of people are unable to do. People will start to make money, they'll actually start to make a lot of money, and if they have this entrepreneurship mindset, and this is something I've actively had to fight, they still want to be really, really risky when it comes to investments. So they'll go start spending all of their money straight into the most risky investments that you possibly can. They're gonna go put a lot of money into the metaverse. They're gonna go put a lot of money into Bitcoin or the next cryptocurrency or whatever it may be, because they want that high leverage point. And they already are making quite a bit of money, so they don't really care if they lose it. That's a lot of the time the mindset that I see. And the problem with this is that you don't wanna be that risky with the money that you've already made. What you wanna do is you wanna get into a position where you can have your money go out, bring back money, and then you can start being risky with that money. So it starts with your business, it starts with yourself, then it starts with your business. Then once you start bringing money in, we gotta put it into a place that's actually going to grow that money without you having to put a lot of time or effort or anything into that. And a lot of people may say stocks, a lot of people may say, real estate. A lot of people, the truth is whatever you put it into, It's really up to you. It's gonna be on what you are most interested in. But what I highly suggest is doing some sort of defensive planning. And what I mean by that is go out and get all of your bases covered. And the best way to get your bases covered is with insurance. And really that's what insurance is for risk mitigation. So you wanna start by making sure your business has all the insurance it needs. You wanna make sure that your house has insurance. You wanna make sure that your car has insurance. And those things probably already do. But if you're starting to make quite a bit of money, you also wanna make sure that you have an umbrella policy. Because the thing is, once you start making decent amounts of money, you unfortunately become a target to some people. And so having an umbrella policy protects you in case somebody sues you for any sort of liability that happens. The next thing that you want to do is make sure that your foundation is set properly. So if anything happens to you, are you going to be able to keep bringing money in? If you're an entrepreneur, sometimes you can. If you have a strong team, sometimes you can. But there's two different sections to what I'm talking about here. So there's disability insurance, which means that if something happens to you, you get injured. You know, the best example is if you're a doctor and something happens to your hands and you can no longer perform surgery, you can get disability insurance and you wanna get it before something actually happens to you. But that way if something happens, you were the main thing that was a source of your own income, and now that's gone. And so disability insurance is going to protect that so that if something does happen to you, you end up getting a check every month that's going to cover that for you because you're no longer able to work. And I know I'm just going over this stuff briefly. If you guys have any questions about this, you can definitely ask a question in the comment and I can point you to somebody that can talk about this more in depth. But understand that these things are really important because no matter how much money you earn, if you don't have any sort of protections in place, it can all be taken away in an instance. And especially your income that comes in that is the motor that's driving this entire thing, if it's not protected, then you're really in trouble. Now, the next piece of the foundation of protecting yourself is actually gonna be life insurance. And there's several different things that we can do with life insurance. The first thing is if something happens to you, you wanna make sure that your family is covered. You wanna make sure that there's enough money that's gonna be going to your spouse. There's gonna be enough money that's gonna go for paying for your kids, for their college, education, whatever it was, whatever you had planned, you wanna make sure that all of that stuff is covered, right? That's kind of like the base of life insurance. But there's actually a second part of life insurance that really creates a strong foundation for the rest of your investments and everything else. And that is what's called cash value life insurance. And you can typically combine the use of both of those things, the death benefit and the cash value, into the same policy. And again, I don't want to get in the weeds here, but the great thing about building cash value in a policy, or really treating it as a place to store your liquid money as compared to a bank, is that it gives you an amazing foundation that has real growth, can never take a loss, and is tax-free as a place for you to have for the home for your money, the base for your money, that then will get deployed into all of these other investments. A lot of times, most people, like 99% of people, are using a bank for this. The problem with banks these days is that they don't pay any interest, like whatsoever. They pay 0.3%. So having your money in a bank, you have no growth for the money that you are saving, whether it be an emergency fund or an opportunity fund, whatever it may be, while you're waiting for other opportunities to come up. So we really want to have a strong home for our money. That's why very specifically designed life insurance creates and completes the foundation of this money plan once we have all these other things that I've already talked about taken care of. And you gotta be careful with this because most insurance agents actually don't know how to structure these things. And if they're not structured properly, and in my opinion, if they're not actually whole life, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. And so if you want to find out more about that, again, leave a comment or shoot me an email and I can hook you up with the right person. But the point is, it needs to be structured properly. Otherwise, a lot of bad things can happen. Now that you have your entire base, your entire foundation completed, you have a home for your money. What you should do is take that money that's coming in, now that you have your business growing up, your business being scaled, the money's coming in. This could even be from a job, but even if it's coming from a job, you still want those foundations that I just talked about. But now, once those are taken care of, money starts coming in, we wanna do two things. We wanna start saving our money for emergency. And this differs depending on who you're talking to. I would say you probably need like 6 months. Some people say 6 to 12 months. Some crazy people will say 2 years. I don't think you need 2 years. But anywhere from like 6 to 12 months is what I would recommend. And you wanna start saving that in that life insurance policy, because if you're just putting it in a bank, then you're gonna get no growth on that. And if you have 6 months of expenses, that could be up to $50,000 to $100,000 for some people. You don't want that just sitting in a bank earning no money doing nothing, especially when you can have it in a better alternative that's gonna earn you guaranteed 3 to 4% growth. It's gonna be guaranteed to never take a loss. And if it's properly structured and properly used, the money is actually tax-free when you do go to use it. So you definitely want to put it in a place that's going to be growing faster and being used more efficiently than a bank is. But you want to start saving up the money for the emergency fund, and then once you hit that amount for the emergency fund, you want to start saving up for opportunity. So what I mean by saving up for opportunity, this comes down to where you want to put your money in the mid-tier bucket, right? This isn't, at this point, this isn't going to go into anything that's super volatile. We don't want anything that could actually go down to zero. You want to be investing in real assets. So that could be, most of the time it's going to be real estate for some people. Sometimes it could be a business, could be land, could be, there's so many things that fall under this category, but you want to be investing in real assets, and you want to be investing with this next category. You want it to be something that actually brings in cash flow. That's why real estate's a really good option, but there are other things as well too. But you want something that's gonna bring in cash flow so your money goes out and it comes back with more money. You want it to go into something where the money's gonna go out and it's gonna bring more money back in. And that is what's called cash flow. And then on top of the cash flow, whatever you're investing in will also have some sort of appreciation. So your money is working in more than one way. And then when you couple it with a life insurance policy, you have the growth, you have the guaranteed loss, you have the tax-free. So there's a lot more utilities that go into it when you couple that with these other investments. But you want to start saving up an opportunity fund in order to jump on deals when they present themselves. All right, I know this is getting long, so I really want to wrap it up. So at this point, you will have started your opportunity fund, you will have invested into some deals that are going to start bringing you cash flow. The idea here is to really grow that to a point where you hit your strike number or your comfort number, to the point where you are bringing in enough cash flow every single month that it covers your bills and brings a little bit extra money for you to be comfortable living on. And what this does is it hedges against everything. It hedges against retirement, it hedges against you losing your job, it hedges against everything. If they're in safe real assets such as real estate, where people are always going to need homes, then you're going to know that that money is safe and it's always going to be bringing you money. And once you get it up to a higher point, it's diversified, not in the asset class, but in different real estate assets. And so with that being the case, you will have gotten to a point where you have monthly cash flow that gives you all the money that you need every single month to pay your bills, to do whatever you want, to live your life. And at that point, you're free. You can do whatever you want. You can quit your business, you could sell your business, you could quit your job, you can do whatever you want because you have this investment strategy set up properly to where every single month, no matter what you do, if you get up from the couch, if you go on vacation, if you could do nothing, and this investment strategy will continue to work because now you have cash flow coming in that is coming in at the point of what you need every month. You don't have to worry about accumulating tons and tons of money, millions of dollars that could easily be wiped out like they just recently were this last year with the stock market. Accumulation is not always the best thing. You really want cash flow up front because once you get to the point where you can bring in whatever that number is for you, let's say it's $10,000. You get $10,000 that gets deposited into your bank every single month without you doing a thing. You are completely free of everything. So that's really the goal, and that's where we want to get with all of this, and that's why we lay all this foundation. And it does take time, right? This isn't something that you're going to start today and it's going to be completed next year. It's not going to be completed in 5 years. You could potentially get to that point where you hit your strike number, your comfort number within 5 to 10 years if you really grind at it. But this is really a long-term plan. And once you get to that point, you're gonna have the cash flow. It's gonna start growing even more to the point where you're bringing money in. So your money from your business comes in, it goes out, it goes to buy real assets. Then money comes back in and you hit your comfort number. You're gonna get to a point where it actually exceeds that comfort number. And that's where you can start doing fun things. You can go and use that money to do whatever you want. You can use that money to go buy a Lamborghini. You can use that money to go buy a $100,000 watch. You could use that money to go invest in the metaverse, into crypto. You could use it to do whatever you want. Now, a lot of people aren't going to agree with me. A lot of people are gonna be like, hey, I worked hard for this money. I can buy a Lamborghini right out here from the money that's coming straight from my business. You can do that, but ultimately that is going to be pretty risky and it's not a very solid financial plan. And at the same time, at this point, you're just taking all of your money and throwing it into liabilities, not assets. So it's not a very good plan for growing wealth. And that's the reason I wanted to make this video, because I unfortunately know a lot of people that have developed and spent a lot of money on themselves. They developed a ton of skills, but they don't know how to actually grow wealth. You see it all the time in professional sports. People have, again, like it's developing skills just in a different way than business, but they develop skills, they get paid a ton of money for it, and they have no idea how to actually use it. They make their money immediately, and they go out and they spend it on stupid stuff. They spend it on jewelry, they spend it on cars, they spend it on yachts, they spend it on whatever it may be. And again, if you want to have your empire stick around for a long time, if you want what you've built, what you've been blessed with to actually help other people and be a good steward of your money, which I believe that we're all supposed to be, that's what we're all called to do, is if you've been blessed with money, you should be a good steward of it. Then this is the actual way to do it, by creating the foundation. And that doesn't mean you can't go spend your money on fun things. And I'll talk about this for a quick second, but a lot of Christians like me think that if they make a lot of money, if they're blessed with abundance, that they can't ever go spend it on fun things. And I don't think that that's necessarily true. But I think that the point is that you need to build up this foundation to where that you are a good steward of your money, and you can take care of it and you can deploy it to needs and causes and what God wanted you to use it for. And then the leftovers is what you can kind of use for fun things. And when you do things that way, whether or not you're a Christian or not, you're being a good steward of your money and really creating a good foundation. And that's gonna leave you in a place where you're not going to go bankrupt or lose your money or lose everything that you've built up, because you take it and go straight to the fun things at the beginning, which unfortunately is what I see a lot out there, which again is why I wanted to make this video, because I have a lot of friends, a lot of people I know that are making a lot of money, and they unfortunately don't understand how to turn their income into wealth. And so I really wanted to get this video out there. I hope that it helps a lot of you, even if you don't have a business, even if you're not making what you may consider or think is a lot of money, these strategies can still be used even with smaller amounts of money. You just have to get the strategies and the principles down correctly, and time is what's gonna grow that into large amounts of wealth. So I hope this helps. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, I know I talked about a lot of stuff that's potentially complex, so if you have any questions, please leave a comment down below and I'll be able to answer that or point you to somebody that can answer it even better than I can. All right, thank you all. Hopefully if you like this video, hit the like button. And if you're interested in insurance, advertising for insurance, real estate, entrepreneurship, motivation, or money, please subscribe so that you get notifications when I come out with new videos. All right, thanks guys. See you on the next one.